Well, hello. Hi, guys. Grannies back, and I think my speakers are messed up. Let's see. Am I doing? And then, oh my gosh. Man, how's that? It? I don't know what's going on. Like, oh, it's bedtime. All day. How's this? I don't know what's going on. How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. I don't know what's going on, y'all. They did another update today, but I did it early, so tested it out, had Ninja Chat going, and now it's not going. I don't know tech and me just probably, I don't know. How's everybody doing tonight? I've uh I've had a pretty I've had a pretty crazy day myself. How about you guys? Chat ain't showing up in there. Hmm. Found. Okay. I am just trying to fix it and it not working. I don't know. I'm bummed out about it because I really liked putting your comments up on the page and I can't do that tonight. So I guess we'll just nope, that ain't what I want either. And that's not working. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, folks. Craziness, craziness, craziness. Everywhere. Everywhere. Let me try this. Okay. Live chat. Coffee. We're going to try it this way. There, at least we have it up on the screen. I don't know. I may have killed Ninja Chat. Who knows? Who knows? I probably killed it, guys. Okay. Robert said it would be better over here. What do you guys think? Something about you guys can't see the chat. If I put it over on the right, how's that? Better? Is that better, Robert? Everybody? Okay, well, at least it's up on the screen while I'm talking, so if I'm answering people, people know what I'm talking about. How was everybody's weekend? Let's start there. How'd everybody? I had a busy weekend. I did get a lot accomplished. Feel good about that. Fresh sheets tonight, and all that good stuff. Laundry, dishes, kitchen, groceries. Took the dogs for a couple outings this weekend. I needed them as bad as they did. Found a really cool spot to take them today, up on top of a mountain, old country graveyard. So that's cool, Cheryl. That sounds interesting. Is it an app? I'm gonna have to change apps. There's other apps, but Ninja Chat was part of my it's part of Chrome, and that's the browser I usually use. So I don't know. I went in and reinstalled it and set it for developer mail. I went through all of it again, and I guess it just does not want to work. Let's see. Oh, it updated too. I just saw that. A newer version is available. Jeez. Well, I guess that's why the old version isn't working. Hmm. It is what it is. We'll just do it this way. So, trolls, and more trolls. Has everybody been seeing all the posts on YouTube about the troll problem and issue? Cheryl, yeah, keep me up on that. I would be interested in that, because that sounds like a cool thing to do. Have art pop up and it talks. Sounds good to me. JJ, you went camping for first time in 35 years? That sounds like fun. Did you see any trolls? That's my question. You know, 60 years. I've heard about trolls all my life, like everybody else. I never thought that they were real. Turns out they are. And they're all over YouTube. Smell the Roses got the trailer ready for camping. It's is next weekend Labor Day weekend? I know Labor Day weekend's coming very soon. I don't think it's next weekend. I think it's the weekend after, because it was always the weekend of my dad's birthday, and my dad's birthday is September 4th, which I think is next Friday. I don't know. Have to look into that. Somebody correct me or tell me when Labor Day is. I have no plans, as you can tell. Um, it seems like every weekend I had free to go camping. It was raining, and yeah, my granddaughter usually goes to South Carolina for the summer with her mom to her mom's, but she decided not to do that this year, so that also played into it. Hi, Scotty Kitty. Got to say hi to everybody. We got Shel Francis in the house, Robert, Gaylor, AJ. Nice to see you again. Jane, you as well. Smell the roses in the house tonight. And who did I miss? Scotty Kitty. She did a little switch around on us. Reading everybody's hi, Alice. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about all the troll drama going on. Had a few trolls of my own, if you haven't noticed, but it is what it is. I guess it's part of being YouTube. And according to what I've been seeing and watching online, it's just a common thing, sad to say. So I kind of looked up the psychology of it all, and I thought I'd fill you guys in on that if you're interested. And if you're not, well, bathroom break, I don't know. So if I can find it now, what I did with it, give me a second. It's not in the troll folder. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It escaped how did it get out of the troll folder? Gee whiz, you guys. That is incredibly disappointing. All right, we'll go to backup. Okay. Let's talk about what a troll actually is. Someone who posts nonsense bait or provocative, comments to get a reaction. Now, I don't know. We've seen this done in fun. It even happened to Matt once. I can't even remember what the message was, but basically somebody put up a message, and then when he read it, it got a good laugh, you know. So, we see that kind of stuff happening. Everybody gets kind of a laugh. It's harmless. Um, Another thing, what a troll actually is not, they don't really offer real opinions. They just stir emotions, stir the pot. You know, often they hide behind anonymity. They don't use their real names, profile pics, yada, 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 which probably nobody should use their real name on YouTube, but that's just my opinion, unless you can afford an entourage. They're usually exaggerated, illogical, personal attacks designed to distract or upset. That's their purpose. It's just common on YouTube. You see it everywhere. I guess everybody's either sick of it at one time or it's trending. I'm not sure. I've talked about it a couple of times myself. Basically, people in the comment sections that are going to channels to do nothing but hate. We have talked about that in the past. Russell did a video recently, and I'm glad he did that video because for some reason, watching that video and what he was talking about and going through, I was like, you got to get the comments. You know, not just the comment itself, but the fact that they're not only making comments on your channel, but they're going to other channels and they're showing a pattern of harassment. You get what I mean? A pattern of harassment. And that's very important if it ever gets out of control. The pattern of harassment. It's usually for attention seeking. Lot of it is narcissism, boredom, insecurity, sadistic humor. So that's what the kind of the psychology was behind it when I looked it up. they don't really show up because you're wrong. They show up because you're there, basically. And then you have the ones that are literally bound and determined. They go to many different channels. It's like people have to know their opinion. They have to be right. That's the one thing that when I was thinking about all of this, it's somebody who has the right to be right, to be right. And if they have to beat it and beat it and beat it on in every spot, every forum, every place that they go, and that's why you see them showing up in different places, same topic, they got to drive their point. It's a need for them. A need. They can't be wrong. They have to be right. They have to, you know, literally stand on the hill and die. They don't take into account other people's perspectives, walks and lives, where they're from, where they're seeing things from. They have a need to be right. It is what it is, and I guess it's just kind of getting out of hand because there's a lot of people talking about it and a lot of people talking about the extremes that some of these people are going to, and as much as doxing and giving out people's information and literally drumming up whole communities to target certain people. Pretty interesting if you think about it. I don't know. You know, part of the thing that the psychology with me on this is who in the hell has time to do that? I mean, seriously, I guess I don't know. I really don't. I work full-time job. I have teenagers that live with me. Yay, the teens, they got a place. The two oldest, I'll be having a roommate. They're moving out, I think, the first or second. And not that I don't love having them here, but you know, you know, if you know, you know, if you know, you know. Uh, Big difference between 2 and 4 people living in a place. You got to clean the toilets twice as much toilet paper, twice as much. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. I love having them here, but they need their own spot. I'm very proud of them. First jobs. Anyway, we'll get off of that. So that and the dogs, the house, who finds the time to network with other people and target people, subjects, whatever it is? It kind of blows my mind about something that in the end, what are you doing? What are you wasting your time with? I mean, seriously, I don't get it. That's just me. I don't get it. I don't know. So, so then I asked YouTube what they had to say about trolls. What was their community recommendations? They got these community channels for creators, and you can go there and take little lessons and different topics. And so I thought, yeah, let's see what YouTube has to say about it. YouTube surely has something to say about it, right? And they did a little bit. Just basically they gave tips on how to deal with trolls, document them, report them. What's going too far? When is it gone too far? Definitely doxing has gone way too far for anybody. Defamation, racism, things like that. They want that reported. Hatred of, anything like that. And so they recognize it, but yet it's going on everywhere, right? And all these creators all of a sudden are talking about it. It is a phenomenon that is like risen in 2026 for some reason, or they've just started tracking it, and they noticed the uprise. It's been going on for a while, and now here it is. So anyway, so yeah, Jane said she was leaving a message on one of Bear's posts, and somebody got snippety snappity with you, did they? Yeah, that happens a lot too. I got one today as well. Right before we came in here, I went to watch the latest Dan video. Dan, what the hell, Dan? I'm gonna start calling your channel. Damn it, Dan. That's what I'm gonna call Dan's channel from now on. Okay, guys, we're gonna give him a nickname. He's now Damn it, Dan. Damn it, Dan. You know, he made a video yesterday, and he made some really good points. Yeah, and I was talking to somebody, and I'm like, "Damn it, Dan, you had me laughing until the end. Then you made me mad again. I don't know whether to hate you or love you." I'm for the underdog, you guys. You know that is, I'm for the underdog. If a person is eccentric and varied interests and likes strange things, if they're artistic, if they're if they just do their own thing, swim against the freaking current, and do not care what anybody thinks about them, those are my people. That's my tribe. You guys, you're my tribe, right? Um, I love it. And Dan's got a lot of that going on. And what in the video he was talking about Sarasota Tim and how boring Sarasota Tim was, which yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just, I don't even know how all these commentary channels that talk about Sarasota Tim stay in business. I don't get it, because I just, there's nothing exciting there. There was at a time, he did some stuff. It, it was, um, he's just, he had a moment on YouTube. He went viral. He got a bunch of subscribers, and then it was a fluke, you guys. It was, when everything is said and done. Okay, the guy's a good-looking elderly man. I think 66, 67. He's got a nice truck, you guys. And his camper is the best camper ever made in the world. In the world! And he drinks the best coffee in the world. So I can see how he would be appealing at times. But I can't tell you how many how to cook eggs video the man has done. He does these cooking videos. I would never let him near a steak. Ever. Never. In a million years would I let that man near a steak to cook it. So anyway, he's talking about that, and yeah, he's got a real problem with Life of Vibe. A lot of people seem to now. All of a sudden, a lot of people have a problem with her. I've never been able to watch her. It's the Horseshack laugh. A lot of it is the Horseshack laugh, but she just, I, I have a problem with people who are better than everybody else, who are authorities on everything. And I'm just going to say it, who cares? It's alive. It's not like I'm monetized anyway. Think their shit don't stink. Those kind of people, and there's people that think their shit don't stink and think they're better than other people, but they don't rub your nose in it constantly. And they don't rub everybody else's nose in it constantly while pretending like they're good, kind people, and they're out for at the best interest of the world, then it gets a little bit too much for me. And that's the way I see it. Hey, I'm not blind views, but that is the way I see it. Blind views is one of my channels I watch. Anyway, he's a commentator. So I guess because there are so many commentator channels out there, that is one of the reason there are so many trolls. That was the other thing that YouTube told me. That is the number one target for trolls is commentators, because we interact, because we do lives. They're looking for that reaction. They're looking for people to join their bandstand. So that makes commentator channels prime targets, let's just say. So I guess there's a rise in commentator channels, and therefore there is a rise in trolls. So there's a lot of people out there. Has anybody seen the videos this week? They started popping up all over. I don't even think Russell called them trolls, but now the word troll. Sarah Soda Tim did a troll video. Somebody else did a troll video. And somebody else did a troll video. I'm like, what's going on? Is everybody getting trolled by the same people, or what is going on? It's like, I'm going to go over and watch their channel, because I don't watch their channel, but I want to see if there's any of my trolls are in there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't tell you. But all of a sudden there's trolls everywhere. And I'm building bridges now, folks. Gonna live outside under the bridge. Just don't come in the house. uh you got a few big what in Wisconsin? I missed something here. Y'all are over here having chats without me. Let's see. JJ, I am in Kentucky. Cheryl said, I'm okay with a difference of opinion, but it doesn't need to get mean and nasty. Exactly. If we can't, just be adults about things, that's when, you know, who needs it? Who needs the negativity constantly too? Like, if there's someone in the chats that constantly disagrees with everything you say, or if there's somebody who every time you go to a channel and you make a comment is right behind you negating what you said, you've got a troll. And that was the other thing. It's just not guess what? It's not just creators that are getting trolls. There are actually viewers who comment that are getting trolled. The trolls are loose, and they are having a good time, I guess. I don't know. If that's a good time, have a good time, I guess, So I think my chat. Anyway, what worker ladies? I'm missing stuff over. You guys are talking. You're dishing the good stuff, and I'm not even seeing it. A worker lady shut her door in his face, right in his face. Are you talking about your brother? Because I seen the last comment I seen. I'm completely lost. I'm interested in a worker lady shutting a door in somebody's face. Jane says she was thinking about the 3 Billy Goats gruff. I know, we all heard about trolls, right? And leprechauns and unicorns and fairies. I had no idea they were real. Who shut their door in Dan's face? I missed something. I missed something. So Dan today, right? The reason I went to his channel today, because the thing said that Offended Outcast had sent him an email. Anybody think Offended Outcast sent Dan an email? That's my question. So Offended Outcast has been probably hounded by every single commentator, news source, whatever on YouTube because it was big and he disappeared and all kinds of people have been wanting to hear from Offended Outcasts. And I just find it really hard to believe that he contacted Dan. But maybe he did. Dan is, he's a wizard, man. Finds missing children and everything. So he's a wizard. Who knows? He could have sent a carrier pigeon from New York down to Kentucky, got a hold of old Ray, and maybe it happened. I don't know. I didn't buy it. You guys go watch his video. You decide. But Dan, your video today had me going again. Acting innocent and Jeb. Now we'll get to Jeb in a minute, but Jeb, he's just always mad. I don't understand him. Why is he mad at me? It's like, oh my God, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. This guy's on one. Anyway, have fun, Dan. That's all I can say. Have fun. You're having fun. I love the glasses. I love the hats. Your poetry, you do great. But I almost think it's kind of a little bit of a crazy act when you do stuff like that, on purpose. I'm pretty sure it is. Good luck to you, bud. Good luck to you. I've got a love-hate relationship with this guy. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, Dan, damn it, Dan. Cheryl, I wish you could bring me some coffee because I could really use some about now myself. I forgot to grab some. I grabbed a Coke. I took one see, I buy these little tiny Cokes because I'm diabetic and I'm not supposed to be drinking this at all. So I buy these little tiny ones, you guys. One a day. I allow myself one a day. Anyway, I took 2 sips of it and I'm like, this is too sweet. I need a coffee. Trolls. Anyway, I've had some really trolly crap happen on my channel. Welcome to YouTube. And I've just kind of tried to ignore it, let it go. I had one that was really I finally booted somebody. Because it was just absolutely ridiculous. It was just it just wouldn't stop over something I said to her comment like 4 months ago. And she pops up and she pops up and she pops up and it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I just finally, and she hasn't been back because last time I blocked her, no, I didn't block her. YouTube did. YouTube got her. And I don't think it was from it was something she was doing on another channel. And the only reason I know that is she started commenting under a different name. And I called her out on it. I was like, I think I'm going to even give her the glory, right? And she said, yeah, she was in YouTube jail. And then she came back like a week before they gave her original name back and told me that she was coming back. She's getting her original name back. And it was like 1 minute she'd be nice. And then the next minute it was a backhanded slap in the face every time. So then I just stopped responding whatsoever for the longest times. And she started bugging other people. Like, instead of making a comment to me, she would go into somebody else's comments and start crap with them. That's when I said, you know what? Enough's enough. It's one thing for her to make crappy comments to me, and I just leave them up there. I don't respond, and then she gets really mad. Sent me emails, and she started emailing me. Because I wouldn't answer her comments. Anyway, the last few times I said enough is enough, because it was like she was literally bugging other people. It's one thing, come say whatever you want. It doesn't, sometimes it does bother me. There have been a few things that were said that do bother me. And oddly enough, it wasn't even comments about me. It was comments about the topic. But yeah. So you ignore them. They hate it. They get mad. You block them. They come back as somebody else. And I haven't really blocked that many people, I think. And several of them were blocked by my moderators. But I think the list is like 8 or 9 in this many months. And you guys know all the ups and downs and the tragedies and the everything that's gone on. So, Cheryl, you as a viewer can hide other people's comments. You can hide them, and it hides their channel from your feed, which is a good idea if you have what I'm talking about going on. And I had no idea that was even going on. After I was reading this earlier and making my little notes on it before I took my dogs for their evening fun run, and then I came on and made this comment on Dan's channel, which I've always addressed him straightforward between me and him and this chick who I've seen on Russell's channel, who I've seen on Vibe's channel, who is now a Super Dan fan. Super Dan fan! Damn it, Dan! Super Dan fans just are not going to be tolerated, okay? Anyway, every time I comment, everything I say, even and I, of course, you notice who's talking to you, and after 2 or 3 times, anyway, she got me today too. You can go look at my comment on Dan's channel if you want to know who it is, because I'm not even going to mention their name. Worst thing you can do, said YouTube, just talk back to them, respond to them, or give them any of your time. That's what YouTube says. I tend to agree with them. Now, when it comes to somebody getting a hold of your personal information, that's a little something more serious that I want to talk about tonight, because someone has done exactly that. Yeah. What they do with that information, I have no control over. None whatsoever. But I was quick to look some things up. And I was quick to address some things. And I spent probably way too many hours Friday night or yesterday on that topic. And I'm not going to do that again. I thought about a lot of things. I did some soul searching of my own this weekend, because I'm like, what kind of person does that? What kind of person, like, can't let something go for months and months and months at a time? And I thought, a bitter person. And I'm like, I got to walk away from this. I got to go do some running around, some think time, and some self-talk. And I thought to myself, a bitter person. And then I remembered that scripture. And the reason I remembered the scripture was because I had a really good friend, who is still a really good friend, who was actually the daughter of Jim and Chris, the founders of Abba House. Met her when she was a teenager. Known her all my life. One of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. Beautiful spirit, beautiful mind, gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous girl. And she got married. She got pregnant. And my dogs barked at her. And she started having problems with her knee when she was pregnant. And she found out shortly after the birth of a child that she had a very rare bone cancer. And after going through chemo and everything else, she decided that they decided to take the leg. And she'd come home from the hospital. My daughter had been helping take care of her son. And we were talking about different things. I came in and told her a pirate joke. She was also bald. And we talked about Halloween, the great costumes we were going to come up with. She had just kind of like me, warped sense of humor. And then we kind of started talking. She says to me, when I found out about this cancer, she goes, I was asking God, why? Why? I just had a baby. I'm 20 years old. I don't even think she was 20. I think she was still 19. And she looked at me and she says, that scripture, bitterness will rot your bones. And I was like, whoa. Rachel, for everything she had going for her, and she would tell you this herself, and she has told this story, so I don't feel too bad about it. She carried a lot of bitterness, and a hard unforgiveness. She was very sharp tongued. Girl, that girl could lay it out in about 14 different ways for you and be probably every 100% right about everything she lined out. But because of the bitterness and stuff behind it, you couldn't hear it. As brilliant as she was, you couldn't hear it. And because of the bitterness, it was hard for her parents to be able to hear and understand where it was coming from because it started as a child. And I got to thinking about that. And I'm like, so what, am I attracting bitterness? And what's the message? And I thought about it for a few minutes and I'm like, well, you're getting bitter. Anyway, I had to go for a ride and I had to do some self-talk. If you're bitter about things, it's not that bitter those things are going to go away, those trolls are going to go away, those kind of things are going to go away, but wasn't that the door was open to bitterness. If you have bitterness in yourself, bitterness that you need to deal with, and you're not dealing with it, the door is open. So what I'm trying to say is I had to sit with myself and think about some things that have gone over the last couple of years. And there was one thing in particular that I really had to get on my face about, involving something that happened with one of my adult children and that happened to them that was unfair, it was unjust, it was a lot of things. And I had a lot of bitterness. Towards that person. And I'm not one. It's always easy I forgive. Too forgiving sometimes, especially when it comes to hurting me. But what I didn't realize was this secondhand bitterness that I had for this person. Um, it was an open door. So I had to shut that, and I had to look at the whole situation from the other perspective. And that's somebody's child, right, wrong, or indifferent. Messed up people do messed up things, right, wrong, or indifferent. I needed forgiveness many times in my life for things that I had done that were messed up. And I didn't even realize how much bitterness I was carrying when it came to this. But it was something that hurt me pretty deep. And so I really, really did have to get on my face about it. Um, I don't want to be a bitter person. And if I am carrying bitterness for another human being, whether I'm pursuing that and trolling that person, which I wasn't, but it was still there, is still nasty. It's just as nasty as the little trolls that are running around spreading nastiness. And I'm not talking to a bunch of people about it, but I'm carrying it in my heart. And it's an open door in my life if I'm carrying that kind of bitterness, for bitterness to walk in. So, yeah. And then I thought, when you're carrying that kind of bitterness and you're having that kind of an attitude about another human being, you're doing just exactly what you hate in other people, thinking you're better than somebody. Um, whether you're talking about it, whether you're talking down to them, or whether you're, telling everybody in the world that you're better than them. I wasn't doing any of those things, but it was the attitude I had about it. So I don't want bitterness in my life. I don't. I don't have to be right, wrong, or indifferent about anything. It's usually easy for me to let things roll off my back. It's not hard when, the opinions of others have meant little to me most of my life. But I'm just too old to care about what people are putting in the comments. And I couldn't understand why it was lingering with me and why it was contentious with me until I looked at me. Maybe these bitter people have no other outlet. Maybe the bitterness is really towards the person they sleep next to at night. And they can't do anything there, so they bring it over here. I don't know. But seems to be an issue on YouTube right now. I hope that I'm not just imagining this because of my situation and what I've been going through. But it was just weird that these other people are talking about trolls and bitterness, and this is what I've been dealing with the last few days, last week too. And it's just like, and how can it carry into a next day, a next week? That's when, I was just like, ah, YouTube isn't worth it. People think, and that's another thing, some of the comments that, I monetized my life off of Matt Brown. I should have done a clip and showed you guys the videos and the lives that I've done and the monetization that I think the highest one and we're not talking super chats. Super chats come from my fan base. Super chats were coming way before I ever got monetized. You're going to laugh. Okay. But I think the last live I did that mentioned that name, I made $1.32 off of in a month. People don't understand. Just like the people that are attacking Jeb and saying, "Oh, he's just using this. He's not making money. Are you crazy? He doesn't even have super chats." What are some other examples that people keep saying this? And I'm like, what? these people really think that somebody that has 1,000 viewers, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000 viewers are making some big YouTube money? They're not. They're not. I think you have to, for most genre, now this is another thing. So the genre you pick matters for the monetization. There are some genres that pay a lot more. There are a lot that don't. People, entertainment, people in blogs. Most of the time, what I see is $12.32 per 2,000 views. So that if that gives you any indication of what a lot of the people are making off of YouTube. Now the videos I'm talking about, I wasn't monetized, but they've been sitting there for 2 months and one of them made 32 cents. I would have made more than that if I had been monetized when I made it. But I wasn't, because it had like 6,000 views the first time. So anyway, it's a little bit of a tricky, you got to have millions of views to make money on a video. And then can be anywhere from $200 to $5,000, depending on the topic. Millions of views, though. It takes millions of views to like get a decent paycheck. Another thing is like, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking. You guys show up every time. Thank you. My community that has showed up, no matter what, thank you very much. I'd like to think that you enjoy coming in here and talking and bull crapping and back and forth. And I enjoy that. I had high aspirations and I still do. As far as editing and doing video content, and I've been learning how to do a little bit of IO parody videos, taking my time with it. Yeah, I'm working on it. Just like I've been working on the lives and slowly improving the quality of what I'm doing here. It's taking some time. And I'm working on it. And you good people, do not say things to me like, "Oh, you said you were going camping 2 months ago, and where's your you just sit on your ass in your room when you could, instead of editing your own videos, and you talk about other people." Well, you know what? Show me a nicely edited video, 30-minute video that you've done. Anybody? Anybody have any comments about that? Does anybody know about video editing, the software, the audio, the transitions from scene to scene, lighting? It all plays into it. And I will absolutely get there someday. I've been working on it in the background. And the thing is, I'm a woman. I have the right and the prerogative to change my mind. Remember when they used to say that a lot of you are my age, a woman's prerogative? I have woman's prerogative. I changed my mind. Sometimes I don't want to do what I decided I was going to do or said I was going to do. That's my prerogative. I'll do what I want to do. But I've literally had comment after comment after comment from these same people, a variety of them. Same thing. It's a commentary channel. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. And no, you coming here and telling me to go camping and making a video isn't going to produce a camping video for you. You're not going to dictate my content. I exercise the right, a prerogative. I'm a woman. It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. I hope that answers some of your questions. I hope that answers some of the constant comments as to what I should be making on my channel. I'm not talking to you guys, but they're in here. Trust me. There's 49 people in here a second ago. They're here. So because they wait till the video processes and then they throw their comments. So I think everybody's getting sick of it. And now that I found out that it's not just happening to creators, you're opening the door for that. Okay, I get it. I get it. But it's also happening to followers and viewers. No, you know, it that's a line that you're not going to cross here. So, yeah, Cheryl, there is a lot of, get memberships, get memberships, get memberships. I do have memberships up and thank you very much for those that support me that way. You see all these people with buy me a coffee, PayPal links, Cash App links. I've never done that. I looked at the buy me a coffee. You know what really gets me? People that say that and make fun of people for having buy me a coffee links, and then they have buy me a coffee links. They're grifting. They're grifting. They're asking people to buy them a coffee. Whatever. I probably should get a buy me a coffee link. But I don't like it's kind of like a community over there. It's kind of like you have to answer comment, it just seems like um I don't know. I do I want to put my Cash App link in my YouTube? That's kind of personal. How do I know that they won't get my personal information if they're sending me something? I don't know. So I haven't done it. I've done it above board. But when YouTube takes 40% on your super chats, I think it might be 40%, you guys. It's either 30 or 40%. I'll have to go look again. That kind of bites sometimes. And there have been people that say, throw up your freaking Cash App link because Cash App don't take 40%. They don't want to give YouTube that money. They're giving it to you. So I don't know. you know, I don't know what the answer is to all of that, but I do know that it bothers a lot of people that people are monetized or, whatever. I just I don't get it. If you want to do a super chat, do a super chat. If somebody having their channel monetized bothers you, I guess go find channels that aren't monetized. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, thanks a lot. Just another grifter, Jason. I'm just grifting for those super chats. No, I just thought that's another contingency that you see with these trolls is what I was trying to say. Um Again, y'all have shown up and shown up and shown up. I'm not talking to the people in my chat because you're here all the time. You support me when I've only got 20 of you in here. And you're here for 2 hours and we chat and we have a laugh and we share, I want to do the pictures again. I was thinking about this time with pictures sharing, you guys. What if we did and this is going to be kind of tough for me because I do have some. What if we shared baby pictures and tried to guess who it was? A monkey paw? Don't be sending in no Planet of the Apes pictures. But what do you guys think about that? Maybe everybody send Granny a baby picture, or what do you guys think about that? Pictures of our first cars. Thought we might do something personal like that again, because I enjoyed watching everybody's pets, and I enjoyed that night. Did you guys enjoy that? I know I'm a crazy pet granny, so maybe that was just maybe I was the. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Pets aren't everybody's cup of tea. Hey, I was going to tell you guys too. Bob Barber, my moderator, he's looking for his next best friend. I'm so excited for him. I'm like, I can't wait to see a picture. I don't know what it is about somebody getting a pet that does that to me, but I don't care who it is. I get that way. But especially because we've talked about his previous dog, and he watches his sister's dog a lot, and I'm just excited for him. Just thought I'd mention that. I know Monkey Paw was born a poor chimpanzee on the wrong side of the jungle. Hyenas raised him, if you want to know the truth. So, some other subjects. We'll get on from the troll topic. Just thought I'd share that with you because I thought it was really interesting that all of a sudden everybody's talking about trolls. And here I've been kind of beating my head against the wall over different things in that area. I was really mad about the trolling and the doxing of Jeb, and how that was all handled, and the fact that it cost him a job, and he was so excited and so happy. And then the person who did it to him said, "Oh, he's always angry. I don't get it." You know what? 10 days ago, he was the happiest guy ever, and he was making very positive videos until that happened to him. So, damn it, Dan. Damn it, Dan. Seriously, and then you act dumb about it? Damn it, Dan. JJ, you want to do the animals again? No baby pictures? Okay. DG Grooms is in the house. I just saw you, honey. I keep clicking on things. I wish my Ninja Chat was working, guys, so I could highlight Jason's um contribution and some of the things you guys are saying. Jane, I'm working on the phone. Listen, honey, I've already called my provider. I got doxxed this week. Not Somebody got a hold of my personal information this week, and I have a pretty good idea who it was. Anyway, so I've been looking at adding a line. I could add a line for free. I have had the same service for forever in a day. My phone was paid off a long time ago, and God, I bought my phone in like 2021, you guys, and it's a really good phone, and I don't really need anything different. But I've scratched, it had a really good camera on it, and it still does, but I've kind of scratched it up. There's hardly any memory left, and because I've always taken a lot of pictures, it takes really good pictures. But going into debt to get another phone, the second line would be free, and it would be like 30. Okay, so I was gonna bite the bullet on it. Um, I was gonna bite the bullet on it. I hate I hate picking up any debt. Uh, I just hate doing it. I had to use a credit card not long ago, and I've been paying it off and paying it off, and it's been like I can't wait because I don't usually carry debt. Um, and going into debt, it just does something to me. It's the economy for one. It's not like I got this great big savings plan anymore. Just different things. So, but I was going to bite the bullet and I was going to do it. Because I had looked at your burner phones, and really for what I could get for a burner phone for a month, I could get it through my server, my carrier that I have now. So the issue with that is that would definitely be connected to my name, whereas a burner phone would not be. Now, you guys may think I'm being overly whatever, right? About my identity and where I live, my exact location and stuff like that. But I have a 17-year-old granddaughter that lives with me who moved here for a reason. Her location, she moved 2 states away for a reason. And my number one right now, besides myself, is her safety. And she lives here and she goes to high school here. And the internet's cruel and mean and ugly and too much. No, too much. I don't care about my back. I don't care. I don't have anything to hide. My God, I've already told you guys I have mental illness and I was a freaking addict and used methamphetamines and yada, yada, yada. I mean, if you really need me to go into any more details than that, I, I just, it's not about that. I'm not hiding who I am. I tell you guys all the time. You can tell I'm nuts. Um, it has nothing to do with that. But privacy does mean something to me. And you know what? In this country, we have freedom of speech, and we should be able to practice the freedom of speech without pissing people off to the point that they have to track down your identity, try to humiliate you, and troll you, let alone doxing. And it happens all the time. I've watched it myself. I've watched people do it myself. So it's not about that. I mean, God, I'll sit in here and tell you horror stories of things I did all my life. Yeah, I'm not. The people who needed to forgive me for the things I've done in my life already have. How can you embarrass me with it or use it against me? You can't. Um, that's the thing about that. And I think it does bother people when you're an open book. I think that bothers people too. But when it comes to my granddaughter, that's a different story because I am an adult that is supposed to protect her. That's why she's here. So, if that ever gets jeopardized, don't think I won't go whole hog, because I will. So, the person who has my information, you know who I'm talking to. And it has been said. And for all of you guys here in the chat that have been with me for so long, and all of you guys who constantly send me clips, thank you for that too, because I don't have the time to scour the internet or, sometimes you guys have had to send me messages about comments that I missed on my own page and things going on. And my moderators, if you ever see anything that you think's out of hand in the comments, by the way, I believe you both have the power in the comments to take care of that too. So thank you, because I have had moderators do that as well in the past, because there's certain things that there have been things that I'm just like, where in that, what rock did that person crawl out from under? Especially when I first started and I was so naive to everything. Yeah, Auburn, I did look into the Google Voice thing. The problem is Google has your identity. And I tried to send an invite for that to somebody and it sent them everything about me. So, yeah. So anyway, it is what it is. People have to, hi, JJ, thank you very, very much once again. I think JJ, just thank you. You have been so supportive. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really. Can't thank you enough. So yeah, I did look into the Google Voice. I'm probably gonna go with my own carrier. I'm looking into that a little bit further. So what made me nervous about that is because with your carrier, and I've seen this happen to people before, that their phone numbers get published. And they're supposed to be putting an end to that too. I'm cautious about it for a reason, is what I'm trying to say, Linda. I would love for you guys to be able to call in, and I have been looking into it, and I've been very cautious about it for good reasons. So, hopefully I get that worked out soon. Okay? We'll get that worked out soon. I know there's also a way to do it through like Discord, and interviews and where you set it up, like to have people. That gets a little complicated for you though. And I think what you're saying is you just like to be able to call me, call in. And I get that. So I'm still working on that. I promise. That is something I want to do. That's something I have talked about recently with like Robert and Cheryl and them. Yeah, I would like to do. Monkey Paw said he liked the baby pics and play Who Is It? All right, we'll take a little. Should I do a poll and you guys can vote? So we'll do a poll for create a poll. Let's create a poll. It's not letting me create a poll. Oh, well, let's see. I think I need to do it as a question. Actually, now I'm in poll and it won't let me out. I get myself in so much trouble. Not trouble, but well, you know what I'm saying. So let me try this. Aha. Aha. We're going to do it as a question. All right. So baby pictures. Guess who? What's another thing we could send pictures in on? Our first cars. I don't want to send kid pictures in because that's invasion of privacy, but let's just do a poll. How about we do this? Let's see how many people are interested in doing that. And let's just not make it just baby pictures. Maybe let's say 10 and under. How about that? Because it would be pretty hard to pick out. Well, I don't even know I know what Monkey Paw looks like. He looks like, what was that movie with Ronald Reagan? What was the chimp's name? Anyway, I never thought about that. We really don't know what each other look like to begin with, so it would really be hard to pick. Maybe we'd have to give a hint. I don't know. All right, so we have some other topics to talk. So, Offended Outcast is back. What the heck do you guys think about that? What about that, guys? Did you think that was gonna? I didn't think it'd happen. I was shocked. Is anybody else shocked? Did anybody else go and watch the videos? Anybody? We just went to an ad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to click on that, you guys. Are you even here with me? I better wait a minute. Jason Casper looks like Dustin Hoffman. Interesting. Jason, I know you're Dustin Hoffman. You've been a fan of mine for a long time, haven't you? Yeah. Ever since Little Big Man? That'll always be the role of a lifetime for me, or in my mind, for Dustin Hoffman. You're right. Monkey Paw, bedtime for Bonzo. Okay, so yep, good old Offended Outcast is back. And he's answering questions, and apparently he's got so much time on his hands now, he's emailing Dan. Oh, Dan. Dan, the only information he gave us, he had already given us on a video, so I don't know why he had to email it to you, but okay. So Jeb made a video yesterday questioning why the tools that were being used on that young couple's channel, Hear No Bells, which great big controversy over that channel as well because they were associated with Offended Outcast, but whatever. So why are they using all the tools that Raymond Krebs said were stolen when his cabin was ransacked and defecated in? Good question. Now, I'm going to tell you something, a little something about the Kentucky Hills. If they ransacked the cabin and it was locals, people that knew he was not there anymore, and they decided to ransack the cabin and steal everything, is what he said. Steal everything of value. The first thing that would have got loaded up would have been the generator and the tools. I guarantee it. Those things are things that people never write the serial numbers down for, and they're not traceable. You know, the Home Depot has been selling the same generator for how many years, and unless you brought it on a credit card, do you get what I'm saying? That would have been prime taken, especially up there where they're at, and everybody's trying to build off grid. Not that anybody in that area ransacked his cabin and stole his stuff. Let's get that straight. That's not what I'm saying. But if everything was stolen out of his cabin and it was ransacked, the tools would not have been there. Okay. They just wouldn't have been there. But now the tools are he let them borrow the tools, is what Offended Outcast said. That he let them borrow them. Which is really weird because they wanted nothing to do with him. They had no idea. They were really upset. They sent their child away because of it. But they're borrowing his tools now. I thought that was interesting. I'm just saying, I wish him no harm. I wish them no harm. From the beginning, it was a crime he committed 21 years ago. He would not be back on YouTube if he was not allowed on YouTube. I read nowhere in the statutes that required him to use his real identity for YouTube, not the way it read. So I think the whole thing, I think people were pissed, and I do think I didn't realize how much money people had given him. That'll buy me a coffee. Been doing it wrong this whole time. Buy me a coffee and you just go pick dogs up off the side of the road and say you need to take them to the vet. Don't get any ideas. I'm not gonna, no, I would never do that. I'd never do that, you guys. Ever. Wouldn't work out too good here. I let them two teenagers move in already. They weren't happy about that because their couch is always occupied. Oh, Linda, your son's getting out 5 wisdom teeth? God, I only got 4. He must be pretty smart. 5 of them. No, I've heard of that before. Like impacted. General anesthetic. So let's just say a little prayer right now for him, because that is scary. Now, Linda, I don't know if you've seen all of the videos online that parents take of their teenagers after their wisdom teeth get taken out and they come off that laughing gas, but we'd appreciate that. I'm just saying, it could go viral. No, we'll say a prayer for him. That's scary for any kid. That's scary for an adult. I hate the dentist. I don't hate the dentist. You know what I'm saying? I always hated going to the dentist. I just, he's not my friend. And they made all those horror movies about dentists too. That didn't help. So yeah, we'll be saying a prayer for him, especially with anytime with anesthetic. Um, that's always a gamble. So It's rough. 5 of them at one time, though. I was trying to think when I got mine out. I think they did one side at a time. Like they did both. Pretty sure I had to go twice. So, if you can get it done at one time, that's a great thing. Yeah, Jason, I agree with that. That drill. Oof. 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 It's not good. I took my granddaughter last year to get her tattoo. We all got a little tattoo. I got a little purple heart for her for she was my first grandchild. So the next grandchild, when I take her to get her first, it'll go up my arm. You know what I mean? If they want one. So with their birthstone. Anyway, I didn't realize that, they're all battery operated now. The tattoo guns. Don't call them guns. They're machines. Tattoo person will kick in and eat. Anyway, they're very quiet, the new ones. I was amazed. Very, very, I mean, there's still some noise, but nothing like the old-timey ones. So, guys, I need to get a drink of water and go potty real quick. Granny's old. Give me a moment. I will be right back. And we'll get to Bear Brown and Fun Guy. And some exciting news for Wednesday's night show that I wanted to go over with you. And we still got to talk a little bit about did Jeb join a cult? If you haven't watched Jeb's videos for the last 2 days, while I go to the bathroom, go watch them. Go watch them. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned, folks. Give me a moment. I'll be right back. Right. We got going again. Can you hear me now? Robert, you can't hear? I'm loud. Is that better? No, no. So the weirdest thing just happened. Trekking out into the kitchen. I didn't get water, I got coffee. And I trucked past the bathroom. His son's like 6'3", big beard, 50, 260. He's bleaching my granddaughter-in-law's hair in the bathroom. I had to do a double take. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Never seen that before in my life. Never knew he had it in him. He's giving it the Boy Scout try. We'll see what happens when I get off here tonight. So nobody watched Defended Outcast? I had to go watch. I had to see. You know. And weirdly enough, Dan's over there talking all nice about him. But he's not advocating him. I don't know. The internet really does shock me sometimes. All right. So, Linda, you're a volunteer firefighter and you're down in Australia. Are you guys how are you guys this year? Because you have bad fire outbreaks too. Going to be an all-nighter in Kentucky. Actually, I probably really kind of needed just a little bit of a boost, monkey paw, or I was going to fall asleep on you guys. I was surprised usually I make 2 cups like this, and I was surprised there was a whole cup left. I guess I didn't drink my second cup today. And you guys been having lots of fires too? Well, the world's on fire, it feels like, isn't it? Weird weather patterns, and God, I wish I could send you guys some of my rain, some of this rain here. My tires are constantly full of mud. I hate that because I paid a lot of money for my tires, and you know when you're getting mud in your tires, it's not good. That supposedly it dry rots them. So I'm out there freaking spraying my tires down all the time because they're always full of mud. Yeah, weird weather patterns. Has anybody else noticed this? I mean, I know it's probably all kinds of YouTube videos about it, but I mean, it's not a, what do they call it when something in your imagination, labels that we think that we saw. What do they call it? The butterfly effect, or is that the right word I'm using? Not the butterfly effect. Things that we thought we remember from certain periods of time that, like the fruit of the loom. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The fruit of the loom label does not have a cornucopia. Did you guys know that? It never has. Different things like that. I can't remember. It's some kind of effect. I don't think the weather effect, though, thing is in my head. The weather patterns have just changed so much over the last, especially 10 years. Yeah. Mandela, thank you, Cheryl. The Mandela effect. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. Okay, so we've had this little poll going, and I've had 15 of you have answered that yes, well, okay, 73% said yes, and 27% said no. So out of 15, I might get, what, 10, maybe? Is my math kind of okay? All right, Grannies Gotta Go at gmail.com. Go ahead and send them, and we'll do next Sunday's live. We'll share pictures and try to guess who they are. Sound good? All right. Anybody can think of any other little games and things like that we can do on our Sunday Night Lives, I'm open for it. The trivia was too much. It was very, very, very time consuming. And it didn't seem very popular, so I think some people enjoyed it and a lot of people didn't hold their attention. Okay? So, not that we won't maybe do it again in the future for those of you who did enjoy it, because I'm a woman and that's my prerogative. I might change my mind about it. I might get really interested in something, and you never know. The next thing you know, we'll be talking about it. You know? So, Jeb, did anybody go watch Jeb's little videos he did the last couple of days? JJ. Really appreciate all of you that show up here every week, and I appreciate you enough not to sing for you. Or dance for you then. So, the last two videos Jeb has done have everybody believing he's in a cult. They've just been really strange. Jeb, if you're watching this, if you get a chance to see this, yeah, I understand you don't want to give away your location. I'm sorry. The only thing that gave your location away when you were where you were at was the meat package. And it was just unique. I mean, if it had been Walmart, you'd have been fine, right? You'd have been fine. It was the meat package. Completely the meat package. Dan is not psychic, and he's not the great Sherlock Holmes. Will other people hunt you down if you give away too many clues? Yeah, absolutely. There's these people are nuts. We've been talking about that. I did get to talk to Jeb. We've exchanged a few emails, and he and Anola may be interested in doing an interview here. And they mentioned it. It wasn't something that I brought up, but it was concerning a lot of the stuff that's been done to them. And they gave me kind of some background into that I'm not going to share with you without their permission. But it was very interesting to me that so many people had it wrong. So that was kind of, I had wondered about that. Like I said, I have experience in that area with ladies, and there's a lot of different reasons things happen. So that was very interesting. I'm waiting to hear. I did respond to that, and I told them that if nothing else, if she wanted to talk to somebody, that I was more than willing to, to listen. But that I would, some of the information was very sensitive, and that I would want her to really think long and hard about that before she doesn't owe an explanation to any of us. None. And she sure as hell didn't know it to Dan. So, God, let's get that clear right now. What was done to her in that regards was criminal as far as I'm concerned, and I told Dan that directly on his page. Period. So if that ever comes about, I will be sure to let you guys know. when it's going to happen or whatever. But I kind of discouraged it, to be honest. I mean, I'd love to do an interview with them, and they can do an interview here anytime. And I don't know if you guys are, would be interested in that or not. But, I really would want her to think long and hard about that because it's very personal. And I want to look out for our young gal and the child involved as well. Um, I'm over here, Miss Sensational Granny, who takes people's bad fortune and gets monetized and makes money off of it. Um, and that's another thing. There's so much. I got inundated with so much information when that was all going on, including the lady who, I'm not even going to go into it. I'm just going to say that when Matt left the Discovery Channel, there were other allegations, and they sent me emails and talked about it and wanted to talk about it, and I chose not to. If I was sensationalizing things, I would have took that opportunity and ran with it, along with a lot of other things that were sent to me during that time period. Not only about Jamie, somebody else that was involved, and Matt himself, like gossip maybe, juicy bits of tidbits and this and that and the other. And I never disclosed any of it. Because A, it wasn't about that. B, those are people's lives. And things that they haven't disclosed to the whole world should not be disclosed by me. I was talking about things that happened on a worldwide platform that was being viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. That's what I was talking about. The backstory and the back relationships and the crazy I had 2 different women who sent me receipts and had whole backstories themselves. And several of them were in here on the lives and told their part, which I said, if you want to talk about it, that's for you to talk about. That's your story. But if I wanted to have sensationalized and stirred up crap and I'd be a lot bigger of a channel if I had shared a lot of that stuff, and there would have been a lot more people subscribing, and we'd probably still be talking about a lot of that stuff if I chose to do so. I didn't choose to do that. And I'm not making up the emails because I've actually shared them with a couple of people that are in here, sent them to them because I had to have somebody to bounce stuff off of. So I'm not making that up either. Seriously, if I was a shit-stirring granny over here in a bedroom in Kentucky, sitting on my ass because I ain't got nothing better to do than spread rumors and gossip, I would love to sit on my ass for a while. I would love to sit on my ass. You know how good that sounds, sitting on my ass for a while. Wow. Shit. I'd love to do that. I would love to do that. You have no idea how tempting that sounds. So many days I just want to call into work and crawl in bed with my puppies and watch TV all day. I wish that was the case. I wish it was. I wish it was. So I just thought, since everybody else is addressing things, I thought, well, this is a good time to address some things that have happened. Monkey Paw's leaving. Uh-oh. My favorite comedian's out of here. Out of here. He knew I had emails about him, too. He did. He got scared. Bye, Monkey Paw. I got all kinds of rumors I could start about monkey paw. Yes, indeed. Jane Goodall. Letters from her. Jane's leaving, or no, JJ's leaving, Monkey Paws, everybody's dipping. We got the dippers in dipping tonight. And I guess we have been on here for quite a while. How long have we been on here? Let's get to the last couple of subjects that I wanted to bring up tonight. Oh God, we've been on here for almost 2 hours. What do you know? A missed call from someone. My sister. Anyway, so what I will tell you is this. A little concerned about you, Jeb. I hope that you haven't gotten yourself in. I feel like you've gotten yourself in a situation that doesn't seem and feel right. Now, if you've gone into witness protection, just let us know. You really probably should stop YouTube altogether if that's the case. I don't know. It's just been really weird. And like you're not allowed to do this and you're not allowed to do that. And it's weird to us. It's just like, it sounds very cultish, and I don't understand. And I mean, I'm sure that someday you're going to explain it to us all, and then it'll maybe make perfect sense. I hope. It's really weird though. And thanks for the email, and I did respond. I haven't heard back from you, but you've been very aloof the last few days. You had been traveling for a long time. I don't really know what's going on, but still praying for you, buddy, and still hoping that you prove all the naysayers wrong. And Offended Outcast is back, but it'd be interesting, I guess, to see how that goes with his channel. It's one thing that he maybe wasn't full forth outright on who he was. I still don't agree that somebody should have to pay the rest of their lives for something that they did 21 years ago, and walk around with a scarlet letter on their head. There are people absolutely that are totally sick and absolutely cannot control their actions or their thoughts, and we know those people exist. But I think they should be lifetime institutionalized. But whatever. My point here is, don't wish him any harm. He did though do some serious lying about the wife and so forth, and we know that now. So if you're going to lie about that, then how do we believe you from going forward? But it will be interesting for me to watch how that develops for him, because again, 20, 30, 40 chances, whatever it takes for a person to turn their life around, be happy, go in the right direction, and be a productive part of society, and hopefully help others. I'm all for that. Guys. Hey, stop. Sorry. But yeah, I can see why people are really ticked off as well. You can absolutely see why people are really ticked off. And I had no idea about the money trail either. I had no idea how thick. I wasn't like an all-time watcher. In fact, I didn't really get interested. I watched a few. Thought he was awfully smart for a guy living in a trailer that had lost everything. I'm like, this man is amazingly smart. I don't understand why he's wasting that. Why he doesn't put that to, somebody that smart with that much wisdom usually has ways of make it. I guess YouTube was his side hustle or whatever. So I always kind of questioned that. And then we found out that he was getting a lot of help from AI, which I have to look stuff up on AI all the time, you guys. I don't know it all. There's a lot of things that I'm interested in that I could tell you a little bit about a lot, because I'm very eclectic when it comes to my interests in life. But I'm not, I'm not quoting building codes and stuff. And I even worked, my husband was a general contractor, and I helped pull building permits for 5 years. And I worked with coding and that kind of stuff. But let me tell you another thing, every state, every municipality is different when it comes to that stuff anyway. So you could be well versed in that in Atlanta, Georgia, and it means nothing at all in Des Moines, Iowa, or Seattle, Washington, or anywhere else in the world. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, and EPA guidelines, and setbacks, and when you're dealing with state parks, national parks, waterways, all of that kind of stuff, has a lot to do with where you're at, and the guidelines and the restrictions and building codes and all of that. It all changes. So he seemed to know an awful lot about those kind of things, and he said he did his research, and he said he really did do his research, and I would have to really do my research as well when it comes to something like that, unless you're versed in that. But I think a lot of what I'm trying to tell you is, I think a lot of creators use AI. This one video series that I'm working on now, without AI, I wouldn't have found half the stuff that I found. And that was even with going to the local paper for archives, and the Kentucky historical archives and all of that. It's really hard to get some of the documentation from things that happened in the 1800s, especially when you're talking about enslaved people. Very difficult. And you're very lucky if you can find anything, because it was mostly oral. And that's why I wanted a lot of these newspapers were articles that were written back in the early 1900s, when people that were relatives or whatever were still alive. So interviews and stuff that were done. But I did get a line on family, so that was a good thing. So anyway, JJ, what are you saying? Oh, you're helping Jane with the email thing. Yeah, she's been struggling with that. Jane, I wish I lived closer. I'd come show you how to do it. And it can be tricky. And I've been having a lot of problems with Gmail and Chrome. They've changed Chrome a bunch, and they really got me ticked off, to be honest with you. The changes that they've made have not been friendly to me anyway. I sat there and thought today what I'd have to go through to uninstall whatever they did, but that's another story. Who has time for all that? You wouldn't believe the amount of time that you can get into when you get into all this technical crap and updates and programs and apps and integrating them. It's just absolutely ludicrous. Sometimes I feel like my brain's going to explode. Okay, so, yeah. Wednesday night, we're going to wrap up the Whitaker subject. Got some background on what actually happened after Mark Leda left. Kind of Tyler Oliveria was the creator that first went there and created quite a rift to begin with, but then things happened with the Larry's daughter, so the niece of the Whitakers, drug use, abuse, criminal charges, different things. So we're going to go over all of that and how these other creators got a hold of them and where they ended up today. So we'll go over that a little bit, but I wanted to tell you this. I drank my coffee today and Mark dropped a video. I don't even know if he drops videos usually on Sunday. But who does drop videos on Sundays? 3 Sundays a month? Peter Santinella. My all-time, and I mean all-time favorite YouTube creator is Peter Santinella. Peter goes all over the country, all over the world, and he just talks to people. He talks to people about what's happening in their neighborhoods, their towns, their states, the economy, the laws, the infiltrations in certain parts of the country, by certain ethnic groups, and how it's changed the whole atmosphere and the borders and just the Indian. My dogs are being so naughty tonight. The Indian he's done. That's what started me watching him to begin with. Was he started a series where he traveled around the country and visited the different reservations and asked questions that you just don't normally get the answers to. It was very interesting, very, very, very interesting. How they are independently through different agreements with the government, how that has affected it. Very, very, very interesting, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go check out Peter Santinella, go check out Peter Santinella. But Mark interviewed him this morning, and they did it together. It was like a dual thing. And they talked about a lot of the stuff with YouTube and a lot about creator stuff and the flack that they get, especially Mark in particular, how they do their journalism, different things they've run across. It was just a very interesting interview, and we'll talk more about that. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. If you have not watched Peter's channel, go check out that interview, and then you can check out his channel. Everybody can find something on Peter's channel that they are going to enjoy. He goes fishing with people in Maine. I'm telling you, if you have any interest in anything, he's probably covered it. The culture, one thing I don't think I've seen him do is like the culture around NASCAR, but that would be something he would do. He's gone and sat with the Mormon families and Muslim families and just very, very, very interesting stuff. And he's feet on the ground, talking to everyday normal people and getting their perspective and their view. And he does it in a way that doesn't seem to be left, right, or anything. He's just getting people's stories. The climate of the country. It's very interesting. So go check that out. We'll talk a little bit more about it on Wednesday night. Did we cover? Oh, Bear Brown. Oh, Bear Brown and Bungus. Boy, I forgot to cover that. Let me pull that little article up that I found. I thought you might find interesting. Let me find that for you. Gee whiz, I forgot all about it. Just talk amongst yourselves while Granny hunts for this article that I now have seemed to have lost. Thought I had it. Yes, I don't. Maybe we won't talk about it. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. And I'm just going to kind of read it to you because I didn't know that he hasn't really talked about it much, and Funguy's been tight-lipped about it. Now, I haven't gone to his channel in a few days, so if he said anything more about it, somebody let me know. But I'm just going to read to you here what U.S. said about it in an article they must have done with him. Solomon Bear Brown has been granted a temporary civil protection order against a man in Washington for alleged stalking and harassment in the weeks after his brother's tragic suicide. My eldest brother, Matt, recently ended his life, claimed on July 2nd, on the July 2nd court petition, obtained exclusively by Us magazine. A witness reported seeing Matt's body in the river. The volunteer search and rescue organization was unable to locate him. The former reality star claimed a man who was involved in a private search and rescue group allegedly located Matt. Bear claimed not to know this individual, and Us is not going to, has chosen not to reveal his identity. The alleged man vaguely claims to have been a very close friend of my brother and has a search incessantly, and has claimed to be an alleged friend of my brother's, and has incessantly, I can't say that word, attacked me online, including on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So I knew about the YouTube, of course. I had heard about the TikTok. I didn't go bother looking it up. What was on YouTube was enough for me, you guys. It was enough for me. But I guess Facebook and Instagram, too. Anyway, Bear requested a court hearing for a full protection order, which was subsequently granted and set for later this month. The incessant and increasingly unhinged attacks are extremely concerning. He has posted dozens of videos on social media spewing hatred and vitriol against my entire family, he alleged. Per the documents, in particular, he was targeted me repeatedly, making all manner of bizarre and strange claims, including that I sent people to harass his family, even though I do not even know this individual, and publicly defaming me by bizarrely claiming that I was responsible for the Palmer fire in 2020. Palmer Fire was a wildfire that began August 18th in Okanogan County, Washington, scorching a total of 17,988 acres of timber, brush, and grassland. After appearing for 14 seasons on Alaskan Bush People, I've become a recognizable personality. Unfortunately, what comes with being recognized is unwarranted criticism from fans, followers, naysayers. Bear continued in the documents. The best way to handle it is usually to ignore it, which is what I tried to do. However, I'm afraid his behavior has become too erratic and too dangerous to ignore. If is perfectly representative, claimed on July 1st, social media, that it's a perfect representation of why I've become afraid for my life. One of his videos, I guess. He also asked the court to include protection orders for Raven, his ex-wife, his mother, Noah, Josh, Gabe, Snowbird, and Rain. He also requested the court to order the man to stop posting, publishing, sharing, and encouraging the disclosure of any personal identifying information of me, my family members, or any other protected person, in addition to removing all information from the internet that has already been posted. Under the temporary order, the man has to stay at least 1,000 feet away from him and his family. And part of the reality star request also includes a court-ordered evaluation for both mental health, drug, and alcohol, and that he surrender any and all firearms that he may own. It started with regard to me returning to Washington to attend my brother's funeral. And he made a video saying that he was locked and loaded, waiting with his dog. He wrote in the petition, this This arises above the behavior of some immature, petulant blowhard who will eventually tire himself out and occupy himself with the next shiny thing that catches his attention. This is an active threat to harm me with a firearm. He added, I genuinely fear for my life. I likewise fear for the safety of my family members who will be around me while we attend my brother's funeral. I do not know what to expect other than his own representation that he is locked and loaded, and all that statement plainly implies. Bear said in docs that he also contacted the local police for a guidance and deputy acknowledgement. That the deputy acknowledged that the man in question may indeed pose a danger and encouraged him to file a request for the protection order. He also claimed that this man has publicly posted his cell phone number along with phone numbers of most of his family members. As a result, his family has been subjected to onslaught of unwanted text messages, phone calls, and disrupting their daily lives, their privacy, and the sense of safety. The former reality star also alleged the individual very recently engaged in increasingly strange, hostile, and disturbing behavior involving my brother, my deceased brother, my family. After locating my brother's body, he filmed and posted images of my brother's body from the knees down, which I found deeply inappropriate and upsetting. He then took possession of my brother's truck, displayed it as a so-called memorial in town, allowed people to vandalize it in the name of a ceremony, and repeatedly refused to return it when asked, even stating that he intended to keep it. Bear also alleged that this man used copyright intellectual property and my brother's image to create and sell t-shirts claiming the proceeds were for charity to help the family. Yeah, we have not received any of those funds. I don't think he ever claimed that. I don't remember him ever claiming that. When confronted about returning the truck or profiting from images that do not belong to him, he becomes enraged, abrasive, insulting, threatening, and he continued over time. His conduct toward me in particular has become increasingly aggressive, spiteful, unstable, including demanding an apology video from me despite having done nothing to warrant one. So, I just wanted to give you, it goes on and on and on. And the temporary request for the protection order was renewed on July 15th. There is a hearing set for July 28th. And, you know, so there was a protection orders that one guy showed us, right? But then there was a court document. So I don't know if that's for the harassment, like if he's going after him for charges. I'm not sure about that. That made me question all of it, though, this article, because it pretty much outlines some stuff. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? You know what? Everybody's been quiet about it. So that was posted, I think, before the actual court date. I think there's a gag order. I think the judge gag ordered both of them because the last video that he talked about anything there, he basically said that he wasn't going to talk about that. And I think there might be a gag order, an internet gag order on both of them, to be honest with you. Bear also, and Bam had said this before, actually before Matt's demise. Bear also confirmed, and I think we all knew this, and I had heard it before, but internet stuff, but apparently Matt has been suffering from a serious mental illness since he was 15 years old. It was when he was first diagnosed. And refused medication, has refused medication most of his life for it. We can only assume what that diagnosis was. There, that's HIPAA laws and stuff. I don't think that they can share it. But I'd often wondered about that myself. And I know a lot of other people had brought it up as well. So that kind of answered that mystery. And that happens a lot in the situation that I am allegedly talking, or not allegedly, but in what I'm talking about. And I cannot confirm or deny or state that this was his diagnosis, and I want to make that very clear here, that that's not what I'm doing. But it is very common for people who do suffer severe mental illness issues, including bipolar, schizophrenia, I'm going to say the wrong word. It used to be called multiple personality disorder. It's not called that anymore. Borderline personality disorders. And that's not the word for it either. MPD. Can't think of the word for it now. Those are the more serious ones. They usually show up about that time of life. And it's very common for them not to want to take the medication, because it's horrible to have an overactive mind and things you can't shut off. But what's worse is to not be able to feel anything at all or think. So you got to think about those kind of things as well when it comes to those illnesses. And then if he had methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, any of those things to that mix, and alcohol is probably one of the worst. I don't think that people realize that for especially for schizophrenia. I don't know. I'm severely ADD. That was my great attraction to meth to begin with, because in the beginning it helped until it didn't help anymore. The self-medication is so typical for a lot of addicts. And a lot of us absolutely positively suffer, I had complex PTSD and ADD. And I suffered with, the back and forth between anxiety and depression. It was severe. It was all the time. It was unpredictable. It was a mind trip all the time. That does something to you when you're developing as a child and you live under those conditions. Never went without food, always had clothing. Dissociative identity disorder. Thank you, Carrie Mae. That's my sissy. Hi, Care. Talking about all the family yuckies again. And I was just getting ready to say, by the way, as I was doing my soul searching this weekend and looking at my own bitterness, I put on music, and these flooding memories of my dad came back, and all the good things that he instilled in me as a person started flooding in. And, I've touched on little things here and there with you guys about my past and my personality and my issues and my problems and where they came from. And, I said to myself, I would have done it today if I'd had the time, because I really did a lot of reflecting on some of the things that he said to me and taught me as a child, and music being one of the greatest gifts he ever gave me. I've talked about the bad part. I need to talk about the good part, because that's the part I hold on to anyway. That is the part that's given me the best of who I really am, and it deserves some time too. And I don't like talking about, I was talking with somebody else about this weekend, about, hashing over the stuff with CPS and the things I've dealt with that in particular. And it brought some memories back from Ava House and the ladies that I worked with there, and whether they were with me in the program when I went through, or when I was on staff there, and the horrific, and I'm talking horrific story. So for 3 years, I taught a class called The Wounded Heart, and that is about sexual abuse. When you sit and listen to other people, group therapy is the best thing you can ever do. If you've never done it before, you guys, and I think people that have a lot of experience in recovery and AA will agree with this, listening to other people's stories has a healing effect on you. Watching somebody else that's been able to come to a place of forgiveness when horrible things have been done and they've learned to work through it. You've watched them grow. You've watched them take that and turn their life around. That does something for you. It does something that I can't even begin to tell you. And some of the stories that I have heard while I was in recovery and while I was a staff member there were horrific. And I can remember sitting there and thinking how fortunate I had been to have the childhood that I did have. I didn't know suffering. Now when I listen to those stories, I did not know anything about suffering when I listened to some of those stories. So I'm going to tell you some good stories. We got my kids are going crazy in the living room. I'm sorry. Teenagers, of course, they wait till midnight to get their craziness on. So we're going to talk about that this week. And Billy Strings is... Share my little... I'm rocking Billy tonight. He released a couple of his new songs that are coming out on his new album that is kind of dedicated to his mom that he lost last year, and he told the story about that. I'm going to share some of those clips with you too, possibly, because they're very inspirational. His story is very inspirational. That album drops this week, so I spent a lot of time with my bluegrass going this weekend. That heals me as well. Music is a healing thing. Very healing thing. Very healing thing. So we'll talk about that some this week, as well as I get ready for the 28th when he drops that new album. And the story behind that album, I think you guys will find very interesting. Some of the things that have happened to him in this past year, his 33rd year, by the way. That's a magical number. He's got 33 tattooed, but look up the year 33 for a person. It's a good number. It's a milestone in your life. It's divided in, biblically, you're divided into three, 33, 33, 33. And so we'll tell you more about that. D. Bruce, I'm talking about the one, the only, Billy Strings. William Apostle, the greatest guitar picker in the world. Those are by the oldies and the goodies. The guys in Nashville that have been picking banjos and guitars all their lives are all saying this about this kid. So yeah, Billy Strings, and the interview that dropped, and he's done a couple, I guess, that I haven't caught, but was Theo Von. So Theo Von did an interview. The first interview I ever saw Theo Von do, you guys, was with Billy Strings. I'm sure that's why it came up in my feed, right? So Theo Von wasn't even on my radar whatsoever. Didn't know nothing about him. I watched this interview and I'm like, God, that guy's like they might have wrote that Dumb and Dumber movie about this kid. It was so disconnected and it was so awkward. And I really didn't get a good impression of Theo. But I was watching Kill Tony or something. I watch a lot of comedians as well, and I should have probably known this kid before then. But anyway, talking about this Theo Vaughn, how funny he is. I think Joe Rogan was talking about how funny Theo Vaughn is. And then he interviewed somebody else, and I caught it. I was like, well, that was a pretty good interview. And then the next thing I know, I'm hooked on Theo, and I get his humor now. I didn't get his humor because I'd never seen him before in the interview itself. I didn't know enough about him, but his humor can be very wicked, and I just didn't even realize it. So I have become now. See, it's my prerogative to change my mind. And you should never judge somebody on the first impression, right? You really shouldn't. So, Theo, I apologize because now I love him. I don't follow every interview he does, but he is funny. He's funny in a totally different way. He has his own amazing story. Billy's story is amazing. Neither one of those two should have made it. Neither one of them. They made it out of some incredibly bad odds. And we'll talk a little bit about that at some point too. I want to drop that video, but I'm going to try to keep the Wednesday night lives to the Whitakers. We're going to finish off their story. We'll go a little bit over the interview that he did with Peter Santinello, where the channel is going. I'm still trying to find out this big news he dropped, and I still can't find the app or what's going on with that because I'm excited about that. If I find anything more out about that, we'll share that on Wednesday night too. I'm waiting for your guys' suggestions on other material you would like me to cover when it comes to soft white underbelly. There's a lot of material out there. There are a lot of multi-characters that have been on there many times. There's different genres we can look at. He does a whole genre on Appalachian, firefighters, first responders, police officers. So you guys let me know what you think. Then there's always Rebecca. And we're going to get to Rebecca sooner or later. I can guarantee you that. And I know Cheryl will like that one if we do that. And Cheryl says the second set of court papers he showed were about the court appearance regarding the HOA. Had nothing to do with Bear. We knew that had been going on too. So why he felt the need to do that, it's kind of crazy because we already knew that had been going on, right? And it had like 2 week later date on it. So I don't know if I don't know. We'll probably never know. I think the judge put gag order on that boy. Thank God. So I was glad to see that. We'll see if Bear talks anything more about it. And then I got a couple messages that Bear's not doing well and suspected of possibly have gotten himself mixed up in some stuff. I don't know if those are true or not. If you guys see anything on the internet, let me know. For now, I'm just taking it with a grain of salt. I'll look into it a little bit, but supposedly he might be having some struggles with his sobriety. I would hate to see that. He's got kids, and people that are counting on him. And I hope that's not a true rumor, and I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. Like I said, I'll have to look more into that. Yes, there's been some accusations made. I'll look more into that. Juliet has a story. All I can do is tell you that Bear said that he had been diagnosed as a teenager with a mental health disorder, and that he refused to take medication for it. So any assumption beyond that is just my assumption or my opinion or whatever it is. And I wouldn't doubt that the rest of the family don't suffer with. I wouldn't doubt that Ami and Billy didn't suffer with some things. Like you said, we all do. I don't think we should wear those as labels. I don't like that part of it. And that's why I don't talk about my diagnoses very often. You know what I've seen, you guys? What I've witnessed here over the last 10 or so years It's like an excuse for everybody. Oh, they triggered me, and I got PTSD, and why do you have PTSD? And then they tell you, and you're going, really? Crazy. Anyway, everybody's got something. I get that. But I think there was the way several of the family members have spoke about it in the past. It was multiple issues for many years, and they've all said that you guys don't know what we've been through and what has happened and things that he has done. I don't know that we're owed that to begin with, but what we saw unfold over the last year, it certainly was something that he had struggled with for a long time. I'm going to say that. And I think they were his struggles. I don't think they were brought on by another person. They're all, I have triggers. I had a horrible temper at one time. I was a very vindictive person. I have things that I regret. At least I talk to my kids and treated them at times. I could sit here for the rest of my life and blame that's the way I was treated, and I had triggers and PTSD, CPTSD. That doesn't cut it. I did what I did, and I owed them apologies, and I owed to get on my face and ask for change, because those are generational curses that are passed from generation to generation unless something changes. And that's the truth. My dad was an addict. That wasn't an excuse for me to become one. There's a time for accountability. There's a time to bring change in your life. And you, and only you, are responsible for that. When I realized that I had mental health issues and my reactions and my actions were not acceptable to the people around me, I had to do something about it. Nobody else was responsible. I didn't call and say, you gave me the wrong parents. God, you need to fix this. No, that's not how it works. Accountability for your own actions, taking care of yourself so that you don't hurt others. That is the proper thing to do. It's not an excuse to throw around that you have PTSD, schizophrenia, bipolar. It's not an excuse. And when you stand before a judge, it's not going to be an excuse they accept either. So that's my point there. And it is harder to let things slide when somebody has been given so many opportunities and has been educated and has been successful in combating those things in their life, and they do know that there are answers out there and changes that can be made in a different way to live. Then there's really accountability once you reach that stage. And that's just the truth. Like it or don't like it. It's the truth. It's the truth, whether it's your kid, a celebrity, the neighbor. It's the truth. The truth doesn't change because you like somebody and you want to cut them a break. It doesn't change the truth. That's the facts. You don't get special treatment. Oh, well, I really love that person. They should get special treatment. That's not how it works. And that special treatment's what got them there a lot of times in the first place. Special treatment. A lot of times. So, it's a tough thing, but it is what it is. And, love people enough to tell them the truth. Love people enough not to allow them to walk all over you. Love people enough to draw boundaries. Love people enough to cut them off if you have to. If you're the problem, if you're part of the problem, and you have to cut them off, there is no shame in that. That's the other thing. There's no shame in that. And there has been a lot of that shame shoved around in this instance and in other instances, and I've seen it a million times. There's no shame in saving your own life because by cutting somebody else out of your life either. And that happens, and people get shamed for that too. So it was a very tragic thing that happened. Statistically, when somebody ends their own life, statistically, those that were closer to them and family members of that person are now 10 times more likely to do that themselves. Let's try to remember that when we're dealing with things like this. And they've seen it become epidemic amongst children that do it. And then all of a sudden you got 4 or 5 kids in the same school. Let's remember that. Let's try to have some empathy for that. It is very, very common when somebody does that for a family member, a wife, a husband, whoever, to be blamed and have the finger point at them. Very common. Very, very common. I don't think that's right either. So, sensitive things that this world, and all the little trolls in it, they don't take any of that in consideration before they type. They just don't. Unfortunately, is YouTube really worth it? I've been asking myself that. I really have. I enjoy it. I enjoy this with you guys. I'm not saying that I don't. I do. I enjoy it a lot. But in the end, is it worth it? Especially when people think I'm rolling in some dough over here. That's like, that is the funny. I laugh at that. I laugh when I see things like that. Or one of the comments I got, we're going to start doing comments of the week too. So one of the comments I got from Linda C. was, after my Whitaker, she was in there. She kept driving her same point. But then she felt the need to go on and comment after that video and say that I don't know why anybody would want to talk about this generational incestual family to begin with. My reply was, well, right there's one of the reasons, because this is not a generational thing that has happened over and over again in this family. It was a cousin and a cousin. Nobody else in the family intermarried. No one. Not a single one. Just 2 people. Just 2 people. It was not a generational ancestral thing. And comments like that are why so much misinformation is out there and why people are so insensitive to this topic. And the funny thing is I do a video on it, and me and my 1,026 subscribers, I think 40 people were in that live that night. 15 million people have done videos about this family, and I'm horrible for it. I'll just leave it at that tonight. Just a perfect example of the things that you read and go, wow. Well, the bad thing is you were there. You watched it. I showed the family tree. I talked about it. I lined it all out for you, and you still made that comment. So, it is what it is. It is what it is, folks. I'll be back on Wednesday. I know a lot of you will be here. I want to thank you now for all you do and for showing up every week. And if you got Juliet, Juliet, if you're still here, honey, we're going to be doing soft white underbelly content on Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock will be Scratch My Underbelly. What do you guys think of that? Scratch. It's either going to be that or Underbelly After Dark. I'm kind of particular. I got dogs. I like their belly scratched. Scratch My Underbelly is probably what's going to end up Let's do a poll on it Wednesday night. How's that? That's going to be the show name. It's going to be every Wednesday night at 10. There's so much content. I think we could talk about soft white underbelly content for years to come and not run out of content. So anyway, let me know what your favorite episodes are. Let me know what you want to talk about. And that'll be Wednesday nights. Sunday nights, it's going to be just kind of a free-for-all. Everybody get together, chit-chat. Tell me what's going on with you, and I'll tell you what I've seen this week, and you can share what you've seen this week, and we'll just kind of leave it that way. And we'll do baby pictures. Send me your baby pictures, guys. Send me them baby pictures. We're going to do baby to 10, and we'll see if people can guess who is who. Grannies gotta go, guys. Have a good night. Bye, everybody.